Hello everyone, welcome to my online prep. Today we'll be studying chapter 23, that is HR Analytics, HR Entrepreneurship and AI based HR Solutions, new HR trends for future. In this chapter, we'll be learning about the new trends of HR future, HR analytics, the conceptual understanding, difference between HR metrics and HR analytics, advantages and disadvantages of HR analytics, what is HR entrepreneurship, the future buzzword, introduction to artificial intelligence and the role of artificial intelligence in HR functions. So let us start with the first topic. When we talk about the new HR trends for the future, the first question that comes to our mind is why are these new trends coming to focus? This is because of various reasons like rapid industrialization and metamorphosis that has been seen in the business organization. There are untold pressures on various functions on the organization to commensurate the changes in its content, structure, and work processes. This is because of the rapid globalization as well, with increasing competition, also technological innovations and advancements, and the growth of digital space in almost all the organizations and markets. Because of these, the production, sales, and marketing cycles, all of these are changing. Thus, the role of human resources is also changing. Because of this, the changing demand situation, HR professionals have to develop and nurture the workforce in a way that they can drive the organization with creativity and dynamism. We have studied the importance of creativity in today's competitive environment. So it is the responsibility of the HR to lead the organization so that they can directly deliver to the business creativity according to the changing employee needs, desires, preferences, and expectations. The fast changing scenario directly has the impact on future as well. Thanks to massive digitization in the industrial world, all of the major functions of HR are being migrated to digital platforms. So not only production and sales, but also the HR responsibilities are being performed on the digital platform like climate survey, organizational change, competency mapping, etc. So we will examine some of the new HR trends that are making inroads into the organizations. There are enough experiments and researches on how best to utilize the cloud computing and robotics, for example, in HR functions, so that they can ensure timely delivery required services to the employees, especially when the organizations are continually becoming leaner and flatter. So let us start with first HR analytics. HR analytics, also known as the human resource analytics, it is a relatively new intervention in the larger domain of human resource management. It basically refers to the use of statistical tools, measures, and procedures that can be used in employing and masking the most effectual decisions, such as the HRM strategies as well as processes. So it is defined as the area in the fields of analytics that deals with the analysis and applying of analytical processes to the human capital. This is within the organization and main purpose is to improve the employee performance and improve the employee retention. So using the various measures and procedures so as to improve the collecting, processing, managing of the HR related data. In this methodology, new insights are created on how investments can be made in human capital assets, how they can contribute to the success of basically generating revenue, minimizing expenses, mitigating risk, and executing strategic plans. These are the four main principles or four main outcomes that are expected. So, how we can use investments, how we can make new investments so that these functions can be improved. Here comes the role of HRA, in which we apply statistical methods to the integrated HR, talent management, financial, and operational data. So now it is clear what is HR or human resource analytics using statistical tools to perform these functions. Conceptually, we can say that the HR It doesn't collect data about how the employees are performing. Rather, the sole aim is to provide better insight as to how these processes can be improved. Many a time, the HR professionals they collect good amount of data, but they are unaware of how to analyze it or how to make use of such data for making informed decisions. Here comes the role of HR analytics. Then what they start doing is they start analyzing the employees' concerns by using such data. This is known as the HR analytics. And HR analytics definitely is very important when the professionals or the managers they want to make informed decisions. Now there's a difference between three terms: HR analytics, people analytics, and workforce analytics. We have already discussed that HR analytics it deals with the metrics or statistical analysis of the HR functions. Here tools like key performance indicator, employee turnover, time taken to recruit, training expense and promotion cycles, tools like these are used. So herein human resource and how they are held accountable for such tasks, all of these things come under the HR analytics. People analytics, on the other hand, it relates to the people in general. It encompasses the broad-based concept that is applicable to any group inside or outside the organization. So the scope is unbounded. Herein, for example, if we are talking about customers or shareholders of the organization, not only to the employees, so it measures or analyzes all the information, all the data that is available about the organization. So this is about all the people that are related to the organization. Workforce analytics, it encompasses all types of employees. Also, it makes scope for future inclusion of AI and robots that will potentially replace the current jobs within the organization. So HR analytics, the analytics of people of the organization. Workforce analytics is how in future we are going to appoint or include AI and robots also. This is the difference between HR analytics and workforce analytics. For example, it includes the regular employees, on-site employees, remote, freelancers, all of the employees that are related to the organization. So in the HR context, some workforce analytics metrics and HR analytics metrics they may overlap, which is why the two terms are often used as synonyms. Okay, so the difference between these three terms is clear now. Next, we have the difference between HR metrics and HR analytics. Now, this is another term that looks very closely related to HR analytics. It is HR metrics. Now, let us see first the concept. HR metrics are typically associated with operational measures and numbers the organizations to track. They are basically used to analyze performance and efficiency and the impact of certain practices. HR analytics, it implies analysis and decision making and mainly focuses on the comparing variables so as to guide future decisions. Often the focus is on developing business measures that can predict the future outcomes. It allows the organizations to anticipate the impact of individual decisions in advance. Then what is the objective? Objective of HR metrics: key figures that help firms to analyze their human capital, measure how to find ways to utilize their human resources, making the best efficient use of them. They are also used to determine the effectiveness and efficiency of the policies, basically to gauge the performance. Analytics, on the other hand, they use the HR metrics to help the organization make better decision as to how to move forward. Also to track the effectiveness of metrics on the business outcomes. Then related to the scope, HR metrics they restrict its scope only to reveal as to what is happening presently or has recently happened. But HR analytics, it is forward looking. It is based on hard data, but they look beyond the numbers. They try to find out the reasons as to why what is happening and also the impact of what's happening on the future. So it is about answering, giving reasons. And for example, examining the number of turnovers in a particular section, calculating it as a percentage to total workforce comes under HR metrics. But HR analytics, what are the reasons for this turnover? Who people who leave the organization, and then finding solution, how to create a plan to remedy the reasons because of which other workers could also adapt the same path. So both HR metrics and HR analytics are vital tools because they provide the organization with the insights. But HR metrics, on one hand, is about finding what is the problem. HR analytics is what are the reasons and how to solve them. Now, let us see some of the broad areas where HR analytics are applied. First, we have for hiring and retention of key talents. What is measured here is the impact of attrition rates on the company's exchequer, as in what is the impact or effect of the people turnover or leaving. So what are the HR metrics that are used? What is the time to hire, most productive recruitment channels, the percentage of vacant posts, the number of years of service of the employee left when they're leaving their post, the reason why they're leaving, what is the attrition rate, the rate and reasons for absenteeism, if any, policy on the succession planning. So these are the metrics that can be used to provide data or information. Now, what can be the benefit? It can help us to identify the best recruiting channels for the key talents, timely induction of the key talents by reducing time lags or response time. When we find out the reason as to why attrition is there, we can solve them. Better, robust succession plan can be made, track and monitor the absence. Then we can also predict the future attrition rates, reduce the turnover, improve productivity, etc. So all of these factors we can minimize operational cost. These are the benefits of using such analysis. Second area is employee engagement. What is measured is the level of employee engagement and its impact. We have studied about employee engagement, that is the involvement, whether they are giving their 100% in the role. The HR metrics that are used are attrition rate, reason for attrition, again, compensation level, the percentage achievement of organization goal, what is the time and attendance management, are there any learning and development opportunities provided, promotion policies, are there fair, employee wellness schemes have been used or not, and benefit, we can find the amount of work outside of normal working hours, whether there's a work life balance or not, the time spent in one-to-ones with their managers per week, are their communication channels effective, whether the staff policies are motivating and stimulating, the ratio of highly motivated employees versus the low engaged, etc. So these are the benefits of using such analysis for employee engagement. The reasons can then be seen to provide improvements for the future. Then the third area is productivity and managing the organizational goals. Here we can measure the impact of productivity on employee satisfaction and achieving the business goals. That is, if increased productivity leads to more satisfaction and motivation in the employee or not. Here we can use metrics like achievement percentage of targets, what is the profit per employee, return on investment, on human capital, per employee business, rate of performance differentials, rate of unauthorized absence. These can be used. Here, benefits are we can see incredibly accurate picture of the employee productivity and achievement. We can then evolve a systematic approach to performance management, identify the performers and non-performers. We can get a 360-degree feedback between leaders and their teams. We can also improve creative abilities constantly. We can keep the employees aligned with the vision and goals of the organization. We can constantly help them to achieve their individual goals. So here productivity and organizational goals can be managed. Analysis can also be helpful in compensation and remuneration deciding. Here, what is the impact of salary levels on the employee engagement, performance, and retention? What metrics can be used? The total establishment cost per annum, the average compensation paid to the employees. These details or data of other major peer companies, percentage of the employees satisfied with their compensation, whether the average salary is accurate for the position, if more performers who are performing highly are getting higher compensation. And then benefits can be, we can track the impact of compensation on performance as well as retention of the highly valued employees. We can detect and prevent issues of compensation, make compensation decisions and actions more transparent and judicious, improve the quality, configure and administer the benefit enrollment. So these can be used for deciding better compensation that is going to increase the employee satisfaction and engagement. And the last area is employee benefits that include their health, safety, welfare, and wellness, etc. Here, the impact of employee benefits on employee motivation and morale. If employees are given extra pay, for example, for their health and safety, then is there a positive impact of this step on their motivation? The metrics that can be used are budgetary allocation to employee benefits, allocation towards a percentage to net profit, the benefit cost as percentage to salary, benefit cost for employee, healthcare cost, utilization benefit, benefit revenue ratio, all of these can be used. Here, advantage of such analysis can be, we can align employee benefit metrics with overall objective of the organization. We can prepare a matrix to benefit the schemes according to the popularity to which the schemes have more impact. They are improving the morale levels, and we can replace the schemes wherever required if they're not having the expected outcome. So we can say that the above HR analytics are the imperative tools to address the major HR issues which will meaningfully contribute to the overall business development of the organization. Now, businesses use analytics to explore and examine their data and also take better informed decisions. Different organizations can use different types of HR analytics. They are mainly three. These are descriptive analytics, predictive analysis, and the prescriptive analytics. Let us see them in detail. First, we have the descriptive analytics, which focuses on what has happened. It answers question like what. So it is whereby historical data is collected, organized, and then presented in a way that is easily understood. It is focused on what has already happened in a business, and unlike other methods of analysis, it is not used to draw inferences or predictions from its findings. So we just focused on what has happened already. An event has occurred, we are analyzing that event, we are not making predictions based on that. Then it is used two key methods, that is data aggregation and data mining or data discovery. These two methods are used to discover the historical data. Basically, we can say that it is a starting point that can be used further so that we can prepare data for further analysis. Now, descriptive analysis, it relies only on historical data and simple calculations. So it can be easily applied to the day-to-day operations, and it doesn't necessarily require extensive knowledge because we are not making predictions for the future. We are just collecting the historical or past data. Although it does have their obvious limitation because it does not look beyond the surface of the data. Here, predictive and prescriptive analytics, they work. Visual tools like line graphs or pie charts, bar charts, these are used to present the findings, meaning descriptive data. It can be easily collected. So the methods that are used are data aggregation, data mining. These data are collected and organized, and we understand what has happened, what event has occurred. We do not make future predictions under descriptive analytics. Then we have predictive analysis, which looks forward. It looks ahead. Statistical models and forecasts are used to answer questions like what could happen in the future. These are built on patterns that were found within the descriptive analysis. So now we have analyzed the past data patterns by looking at the historical data and customer insights. We can now predict what might happen going forward. And then in this, we may inform many aspects of business and HR, like setting realistic goals, effective planning, managing performance expectations, and avoiding risk. So now we are analyzing the past data patterns and we are making predictions for the future. So here predictive analysis is based on probabilities. We are not exactly sure that this is going to happen. We are just giving a probability that this might happen. So herein variety of techniques can be used, such as data mining, statistical modeling, machine learning algorithms, and we are trying to forecast the future possibilities or future outcomes, also the likelihood of those outcomes. We're not telling that this would definitely occur. We are saying that this might occur. So we are taking the existing data and attempting to fill the missing data with the best possible guesses for the future. So the focus is what could happen in the future. Here the methodology, it empowers the managers to take a more proactive, data-driven approach. The predictive analytics can help talent acquisition teams determine if someone will be a good cultural fit for the organization. It could also provide estimations on how long the person will stay with the company. However, the disadvantage is that it is based on probabilities or guesses. So it will never be completely accurate. We are just making guesses based on probability. Still, it can act as vital tool to forecast the possible future events. We can make forecasts about efficiency, customer service, fraud detection, prevention, workforce planning, etc. So it relies on the existence of historical data and large amounts of it. And then we have the third type, which is prescriptive analysis. That is, once the future is predicted, we can question as to what can we do about it. If we are making a prediction about the future that the efficiency is going to reduce, then it can provide recommendations as to what we can do, as to what has occurred in the past, and the predictions made for the future, what should be our course of action. If descriptive analysis, it tells us about what has happened, and predictive tells us about what could happen, prescriptive analysis will tell us what should be done. So this is the final and most advanced stage, and it calls businesses to take action, helping executives, managers, and operational employees to make the best possible decision that is based on the data that is provided to them. It can be highly beneficial for organizations who are at peak or, let's say, busy seasons, and they want to take corrective action. For example, a retailer will want to know how many people should they staff during holidays. So essentially, the prescriptive analytics predicts multiple futures, and in doing so, it makes it possible to consider the possible outcomes for each one of them before the decisions are made. This is how it works. It is complex, definitely. It requires more specialized analytics to be done. So in order to make prediction, a number of techniques and tools are used, like rules, statistics, machine learning, algorithms. They can be applied to the available data, and a set of artificial intelligence can also be used here. So when it is used effectively, it will provide invaluable insights so that we can make the best possible data-based decision. Still, disadvantage is that it requires large amount of data and specialized people so that they can produce useful results, which is not always possible to provide. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. So all the above three analytics can change the way HR functions, but only if they have enough time. So they can be used, but effectively. Next, let us see the various steps involved in HR analytics strategy implementation. There are various steps involved in implementing the HR analytics strategy, right from establishing and collecting the HR data till its final analysis is performed. Here in a simple 8-step model, can be used for implementing the process. First step is framing the questionnaire on the business or HR. This is the initial step to explain as to what the business reason, what is the reason for the business to undertake this analysis. It must come first so that any undertaking of wrong analysis is avoided. Herein, a clearly framed, well-defined business questionnaire will ensure the exact purpose of undertaking the analytics work. Then we have the second step, that is building hypothesis. Hypothesis is a tentative answer to a question. It will guide the data gathering and analysis phases in a way that links the business or the HR questions, let's say. So, strong hypothesis should be used, formulating them and listing out the assumption or presupposes in advance will help us guard against reaching conclusions based on just observed relationship. Then we have gathering the data. Data gathering step requires identifying the most relevant data for testing the hypothesis and determining whether the data quality is sufficient. Here, decisions need to be taken as to whether gather the existing data, collect new data, or both, that is primary or secondary data. Then we have conducting the analysis. Once the data is collected, then we can move forward. This is where the methodology and the statistics are applied to the data so that we can test the hypothesis and provide the basis for insights. Herein, without this step, fundamental building blocks of any analytics, they simply do not exist. So conducting analysis is important. After that, we reveal the insights. Herein, HR analytics, they must uncover the insights for two main reasons. First, they cannot assume that project sponsors and stakeholders, they possess the required ability and skill. Secondly, if analysts, they present only data and analysis without insights, then the organization or executives, they might draw their own conclusions. This is why they need to provide clear insights so that such misconceptions are not formed. Then, on the basis of the analysis made, data collected, and insights, we provide the recommendations. The main reason for HR analytics is to project what is going to happen, what should be the course of action. So, the recommendations will improve the business. In this, experienced practitioners will give recommendations on what the business leaders they need to make or what change they need to bring. Then putting your point across, this is where we are able to inform the decision making. We will finally make the decision. Leaders, they use tools like storytelling and carefully consider their visualizations to create a desired impact. They want that their recommendations or decisions, they are accepted by all the people who are involved. So we need to create a desired impact. Finally, we need to implement and evaluate our decisions. This step has three key objectives. First, it ensures that decisions are made as a result of your project. Second, it formulates the actions for implementation based on those decisions. And finally, we evaluate the project as to whether it returned the value to the organization or not. So, evaluation is also like a follow up stage. So, these are the 8 steps that are used in the process when we are implementing the HR analytics. Next, what are the advantages of using HR analytics? We can use it to make better HR decisions. This is because it provides access to the critical data and insights about the workforce. It can be analyzed for making better decisions. Besides improving the performance of HR function, it will also provide a better understanding on the strategies that are going to motivate the employees to work more productively and how the organizational culture is going to affect their performance. Second, it will ensure better quality of hire. Here, running machine learning algorithms on the job seekers data, it will allow organizers to identify the best matching talent for a vacant position. Employee retention is also improved. By using the employee data, the recruiters can recognize a set of characteristics of high performing employees. They can take steps on how they can hire them, retain them. It will identify the departments or sections that are suffering from maximum attrition, what are the reasons, and then we can use corrective action. It also helps transforming the HR as a strategic business partner. Here, application can provide a unique advantage point to the HR department so that it can validate its important. The importance of HR function is validated. They can provide business leaders with verifiable data so that they can back their talent hiring, retention, and engagement policies. Finally, it helps to predict the hiring needs. For example, the HR business, they take place in future in the organization. For that, the skills and let's say positions that are needed to improve the business performance. Herein, technology explosion is the expected future. So we need to hire people who are technologically advanced. So these are the advantages of using HR analytics. Now, while the advantages of HR analytics are immense, there are also a couple of disadvantages to using it in the current scenario. First, since the HR deal with huge amount and sensitive confidential data, security and privacy are two of the main concerns. The HR analytics system that is handling this data, they should design systems so that they can prevent any unauthorized access. Data breach or confidentiality breach should not be there. They should make sure that the private or sensitive data is not going in wrong hands. There have to be multiple levels of access, and the system must be constantly monitored for any data theft. Then maintaining such a system will obviously lead to greater cost. And second main disadvantage to the implementing of HR analytics is the high cost. High acquisition and maintenance cost, they act as deterrent, especially for smaller companies. Because of this, they're not possible to implement such a system. Also, operating in a sophisticated HR analytics tool requires special expertise, and that results in additional training cost or the cost of hiring an IT expert to handle the system. So we can say that HR analytics is still in a development stage. It is still awakening to its immense potential. There will soon be a time when these tools will become more easier and cost effective. So definitely there are challenges, but as more and more strategic planning, decision making is there, a tech savvy HR team is going to be proved beneficial for all the organizations. Next topic is HR entrepreneurship. First, let us understand the meaning of some terms. Entrepreneur, we can say it is a person who takes up an initiative to create a product or service. It can also be said of as a startup or person who has their own business. In simple terms, those who identify a need or any need and they fill it. The individual who manages and runs the business could also be known as entrepreneurs. So individual who have their own business or they are running it, here these are known as entrepreneurship. So being an entrepreneur is more of a question of mindset than a business model. Here the term can be defined as the ability to find a solution to any given problem, no matter what the context. It is a means of trying to add value by seeing a business opportunity. It largely includes communicative and managerial functions so as to mobilize financial and material resources. It can be said of as a process of enhancing values by integration of various facilities. Here, three fundamental features of entrepreneurship can be mentioned. It is innovativeness, risk-taking ability, and proactiveness. Innovativeness means that the process for searching of creative or novel solutions to a problem. It occurs in terms of discovering new markets, for example. Then risk taking, in general, risk is manageable and it can be avoided through increasing the competencies. And proactiveness, it focuses on execution and fulfillment of the concept, taking action on a continuous basis. So now we move on to HR entrepreneur. It is the qualities that need to be possessed by the HR entrepreneur. The ultimate objective is to enhance the organizational performance by focusing on the outcomes rather than the roles that are assigned to the individual. So they need to have a blend of creative thinking, a constant urge that they want to innovate something better with viable products and services in the organization, then also meeting the corporate business goals. So the HR entrepreneurs, they should have risk taking ability. They should also seek to overcome risk by undertaking robust research, effective planning, and harnessing also developing skills. Some of the qualities of HR entrepreneur can be stated as requiring collection of traits and abilities that are gained through education, knowledge, initiative, hard work, and experience. They do not confine themselves to the role of people management, but they move on to business management more holistically. Then, prospective entrepreneurs, they turn problems into opportunities and challenges. They try to invest more efforts and devote a good amount of time to learn about the situation, to learn about the context, because they want to provide innovative and creative solutions. They invest more efforts for this. Entrepreneurs, they also want their staff to tackle their work with the same enthusiasm with which they engage their business. They desire them to treat customers as if they're their own. They should hold themselves accountable for the quality, control, and cost. And here the expertise, it goes beyond job description or a key performance area. The HR entrepreneurs, like we said, these are knowledgeable innovators. They try to find creative solutions. They try to inject their enthusiasm for business into their team members. They do not just want to perform the functions on their own. They want their team members also to have the same enthusiasm. They reward the employees that are possessing the entrepreneurial ability, and they lead change from the front. So these are some of the characteristics of HR entrepreneur. A new HR model that is developing today is the HR consultancy or outsourcing, in which a third party organization is hired to handle its human resource activities. Here, in many organizations, including banks, they have been outsourcing their non strategic HR functions to outside HR entrepreneurs or HR professional agencies. Some of the objectives with which this model is adopted: delivering cost savings, whether direct or indirect, liberate the internal HR resources because the non-strategic functions are outsourced, so they can focus more on developmental HR roles, to focus more on the strategies to achieve business rather than on internal processes, to ensure compliance with legal, regulatory, and best practice requirements, also risk sharing and liability for people issues, saving time and efforts through improved efficiency. It also helps to create a stable, cost effective operating, turning the HR function as more professional and building the organization as a great place to work with. These are the various objectives with which HR outsourcing is adopted. Herein, it leads to significant savings in cost and effort because the third party is a specialist who would be able to deliver excellent results. Now, we said that various HR functions, if not all, they can be outsourced to the external HR experts or firms. They are less likely to endanger the competitive advantage of the organization because they are familiar with the culture of the organization, right? So competitive advantage, it can be driven from the skills, knowledge, and attitudes of various external outsources as well. Then the areas or functions which can be outsourced are human resource management system or human resource, including payroll. The recruitment and selection process can be done through outsourcing. Employee induction programs, training and development, leadership development for top management, analyzing the organizational structure, then assessing the staffing needs, productivity, attitudinal and cultural surveys, employee engagement surveys can be conducted, benefits administration, medical and health services, building the HR brand image. So these strategic, non-strategic differentiation, Organizations for them can go for external outsourcing or consultancy. Contractual employment of even retired employees or officers is resorted in banks for various guidelines of government of India. Generally, banking industry, specifically if we talk about the public sector banks, they are reaping rich advantage of such contractual appointments of retired officers, because now there's a dearth of experienced people with large scale retirements happening. So outsourcing can prove to be a beneficial method for banking as well. However, there are certain barriers and disadvantages of HR outsourcing as well. For example, if the company fails to define its overall recruitment strategy and what are their hiring objectives, then any recruiting program may fail to meet its company's needs. This is also especially true for the outsourced programs because they will succeed only in the context of a well-defined corporate and staffing strategy. As with any program, a company must manage its outsourcing activities by providing initial direction and continued monitoring to assure the desired results. Overall, providing guidance to external activities can present a significant management challenge. Now, these companies, these processes may fail or prove to be a poor organizational fit. In India, especially the public sector banks, the non-core HR functions are only outsourced, but not the core HR functions like recruitment. Further, employee outsourcing in public sector banks, this is highly resisted by the trade unions because this creates a situation of unemployment and promotional opportunities for the existing employees, because outsourcing, those employees get those benefits. The HR services also encompass the total organization, and any inconsistency or let's say opportunistic behavior on the part of the service provider, it can impede the company's long-term competitive advantage. So there are certain barriers and disadvantages as well. So if outsourcing is adapted by organization, then proper monitoring and guidance should be there. Next, we have introduction to artificial intelligence. Now, after technology and intelligent automation techniques, they have found their way into banking. Artificial intelligence is also entering, and in the field of HR management also it is being used. Let us see how. In simple terms, we can say that artificial intelligence is a wide-ranging branch of computer science that is concerned with building smart machines capable of performing tasks that are typically requiring human intelligence. It is the ability of, let's say, a digital computer or a computer controlled robot to perform tasks that are commonly associated with intelligent beings. This term is frequently applied to the project of developing systems endowed with the intellectual processes characteristics of humans, like their ability to reason, discover meaning, generalize, or learn from the past experience. The intelligence which was only related to human beings, when it is incorporated into machines, it is known as artificial intelligence. That is a science devoted to making machines think and act like humans. They are performing problem solving and decision making capabilities of the human mind. Herein, some researchers they envisage four different approaches that have defined the field of AI. These are thinking humanly, thinking rationally, acting humanly, and acting rationally. So these approaches they concern about the thought process and reasoning, the first two ones, and then the last two ones they deal with behavior, acting like humans or acting rationally. So it is how AI can be used in HR functions in the organizations. For this, let us see what are the different types of artificial intelligence. Basically, we have two categories, that is artificial narrow intelligence and artificial strong intelligence. Narrow intelligence is also called weak intelligence, that is trained and focused to perform only specific tasks. It operates within a limited context and is a simulation of the human intelligence. This kind It is often performing a single task extremely well. While these machines they seem intelligent, they are operating far more constraints and limitations than even the most basic human intelligence. For example, let's say Apple's Siri, Amazon's Alexa, IBM Watson, Google search, image recognition, self-driving cars, they have been assigned one or single similar task. Then we have artificial strong intelligence, that is also called artificial general or artificial super intelligence. It has the general intelligence much like human being. It can apply that intelligence to solve any problem. Now it is not focused to one area but several problems. It is a theoretical form of AI where a machine would have an intelligence equal to humans, right? So artificial super intelligence would also surpass the intelligence and the ability of the human brain. So strong AI is entirely still theoretical with no practical examples in today's time. It does not mean that researchers are not exploring it. They are trying to bring in super artificial intelligence as well. For example, the best artificial strong intelligence can be seen in the science fiction such as HAL, the superhuman, rogue computer assistants, a space odyssey. These are some of the examples wherein science fiction have shown the artificial strong intelligence. So we can say that artificial intelligence is a set of algorithms and intelligence that try to mimic the human intelligence. Under this, there are two subsets. First is machine learning and the other is deep learning. So machine learning, it feeds the computer data and uses statistical techniques to help it learn how to get a progressively better at the task. Now this is without being specifically programmed for that task. It eliminates the need for millions of lines or written codes. Machine learning, it consists of both supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is using the labeled data sets, and unsupervised used the unlabeled data sets. So it is a subset of artificial intelligence that focuses on a specific goals, setting computers up to be able to perform tasks without the need of explicit programming. It is about computers being able to perform the task, but the computers still think and act like machines. Their ability to perform some complex task like gathering data from an image or video, still it comes under machine learning. Then we have the second subset, that is the deep learning. It is a type of machine learning. It runs inputs through a biologically inspired neural network architecture. It contains a number of hidden layers through which the data is processed. It allows the machine to go deep in its learning, making connections and weighting the input for the best results. So deep learning is the next step of machine learning. It has introduced extremely sophisticated approach to machine learning and are set to tackle these challenges because they have been specifically modeled after the human being. So complex, multi-layered, deep neural networks are built to allow data to be passed between nodes just like it works in human beings through neurons. So it results in a non-linear transformation of data, and huge volumes of data to feed and build is required to generate immediate result, but there is relatively less time or little human intervention that is required in this deep learning. Let us see the major differences between machine learning and deep learning. Regarding human intervention, machine learning, it acts or thinks like humans with less human intervention. Deep learning is more complex, but it requires minimal intervention thereafter. If we talk about hardware, so machine learning is less complex, it works on conventional computers. But deep learning, it is more complex, it requires more powerful hardware and resources. Time taking machine learning, it can operate quickly but may be limited in the power of the results. Deep learning, they might take some more time to set up, but the results are generated instantaneously. Then The machine learning tends to require structured data and uses traditional algorithms. Deep learning, like we said, it employs the neural networks. It is built to accommodate large volume of unstructured data. This is an important point. Machine learning involves structured data. Deep learning involves unstructured data. Machine learning, we are already using it in email inbox, bank, and even doctor's office. Deep learning is more complex and it is involved in programs like self-driving cars or robots that perform advanced surgery. Other differences is that machine learning requires less computer power. It can not analyze images, videos, and unstructured data. But deep learning, it needs less ongoing human intervention. It can analyze images, videos easily than the machine learning. So we can say that these are going to impact our lives for generations to come, and virtually every industry will be transformed by their capabilities by using machine learning and deep learning. Next, we have the concept of digital assistant. Of late, this is being used more and more in our daily lives. With digital assistants, one can do the daily life task and many others without having to touch a gadget. So, a digital assistant is a voice activated software that can understand and carry out electronic tasks for the people. If we, let's say, have a smartphone, tablet, or a newer computer, there's a good chance that it has a built-in digital assistant. So instead of using our hands to pull up certain apps or programs, we just need to speak a command and the digital assistant will carry out for us. For example, if we have a smartphone, we can say dial so and so and the digital assistant will make the task. They are built with machine learning algorithms so as to understand natural language and the intent of the user's question and to provide intelligent guidance to complete the required steps. For example, HR function can use digital assistants by way of new hires so that they can complete the onboarding task and provide guidance. They need not score various documents or web pages. They are built with machine learning. So let us discuss some of the popular digital assistants that are being used. There is Siri. It can be found on devices like iOS and Mac OS. To use Siri, we simply press and hold the home button on the iPhone or iPad and we start talking. Then we have Google Assistant. It can be found on the Google app on Android phones. Also, it is available for iOS. Again, we need to simply say OK Google, followed by the questions or the command. Then we have Cortana. This can be found on devices using the Windows 10. It can also be downloaded for iOS and Android. We can simply click the microphone icon on the taskbar or say hi Cortana and then start talking. Also, we have Alexa. This is the most commonly used. It is currently available on Amazon Echo and Fire TV along with a few third-party devices as well. To use Alexa, it is simple, similar to using Google. Now, except you'll start saying by Alexa and then we can say the command. So digital assistant, it saves a lot of time and effort and performs the simple activities for us. Now we will see some of the role or functions of artificial intelligence as used in the HR functioning. The human resource management, they are using artificial intelligence in various HR functions. First, we have the recruitment and selection function. In this, it is a vital function definitely to get on board talent acquisition role of the HR function, hiring the talented individuals and their development. So in this, from screening applications to maintaining databases, arranging interviews with them, addressing and resolving the contestant queries, AI reduces time and effort that is required to complete these and other boring activities in place of the HR. It also considerably reduces the recruitment process and time. The sourcing, performance management, skill development, all of these are performed using artificial intelligence. Major benefit at the interview stage is the use of digital assistant for more engaging of the candidate experience. That it helps the candidates become more self-sufficient. Entire interviewing process is in the control of the HR department. If there is any need for rescheduling or canceling, it can be done. It also reminds HR managers of the upcoming interviews, provides details on candidates. The AI applications can search and review the resumes and eliminate those that are not appropriate for the position that is offered. It can also help overcome subjectivity by gathering data from previous employees and preparing targeted questions. Machine learning technology, however, it will not be able to make the final decision, but AI can help the recruiters and managers to make better hiring decisions, finding the best candidate, then uncover the candidate with the best match, recommend job to the candidates. Other than that, predict the candidate performance, benchmarking, creating individualized reports. All of these can be done with the use of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is also used for onboarding or giving orientation to the new recruits. Herein, the new workers will get all the necessary information from their mobile application, laptop, or any other device. On the first day, the AI consolidated system will teach the newly recruited about the corporate knowledge, policies, and rules. It also allows the procedures to be customized as per the workers' needs and their associated roles. Also, it helps to ease the administrative burden. Automatic delivery and receipt of necessary paperwork is done. It also helps check what documents are read by the contract, verification of the legal documents. It also allows for onboarding to occur round the clock, and it shortens the time to productivity. Here, the AI driven digital assistant can recommend job relating learning based activities that they can take, and books, journal, articles, relevant content. All of this is provided to the new recruits. Learning and development opportunities are also provided through the artificial intelligence. The employees will be able to study and teach themselves about the appropriate roles and needs using the AI development services. It will recommend videos or learning programs. It can also include mostly private programs that are focused on learning, translating written programs. Here, skill set information will be provided based on the job description for improved growth. Also, it will efficiently integrate it across the employee life cycle for recruitment on and onboarding, resulting in personalized employee experience. It also helps to offer personalized learning. It is more relevant, adaptive, and meaningful. Finally, it also helps promoting collaborative learning, where the employees in the department they to learn together from each other. AI can also help them pair up according to their own skill and abilities. So it will assist and develop the trainees. It will also improve the working techniques of the trainers and the project leaders in a firm. It also helps in compensation management. Here, AI will provide market insights, provide a strategic view as to how the roles should be banded by analyzing a wealth of salary data points that are relative to the local market. Here, the managers or the HR can see for a particular role what other competitors are paying their employees. It also helps the organization to increase its recruiting efficacy by matching a specific offer with individual job and employee histories so that the candidate will be satisfied with the compensation that is provided. Finally, it can be used for talent management and employee retention. It can create an environment that meets the employees' needs and improves their retention. That is, it will provide development and career opportunities on the working environment. For example, it can equip an employee with the required intelligence and offer suggestions for more knowledge development that is going to aid them in their day-to-day job duties. It will also address the challenge of attracting and retaining the key talents and its implementation. It can anticipate the need and behaviors and help take the managers better decision. It can also provide a customized approach that will provide more growth and satisfaction. And then we have career development. It is one of the most important factor that the new generation employees they seek in an organization. They want opportunities so that they can have more promotions. They want curated career development, recommendations that shift with the business and maximize career potential. AI offers personalized recommendations for that. It also offers individualized career paths so that the employee's career progression can be made and it can be delivered in a personalized way. Finally, AI technology can mitigate and address bias with input, and it can create the organization for improved work and direct workers. HR specialists here, they need to be cautious about the required acts that are formally happening in the organization so that better career development opportunities can be created. Also, AI provides for succession planning. It can help to identify the flight risk. Flight risk reduction draws on different attributes. It will uncover the most capable successors. Herein, the attributes include employee sentiment, employees' mentors, influencers, the number of years they have spent on a particular position, etc. Therefore, it is imperative for the organization to have a robust succession plan and to roll it out in a most effective manner. AI will help us leverage the data models to analyze the employee behavior, determine which employees are ready to step up, they have cultural fit, leadership capability, and accomplishments of the past successors. So, we can say that in the constantly competitive environment, HR has to deliver great employee experience, and using AI, they can properly implement it and ensure throughout delivery of these expectations. Finally, let us discuss some of the challenges and remedial measures in implementing the AI-based solutions in HR functions. So, artificial intelligence, they will continue to have advantageous position in the HR functions. Nonetheless, just like the case of any other technology, AI also has some potential challenges. While the HR executives, they seek to ensure that AI is most easier and safer to utilize, security and privacy concerns are still the most prevalent concern, which may alienate the HR functionaries to use AI in their HR functions. In the first place, for most successful AI outcomes, real time and reliable data is required. So it is very crucial that the correct data first is used and incompetent data is not there. So herein the AI, they constantly make evaluations and upgrades, making it a time consuming maintenance procedure. Hence, maintaining AI with adopting dynamic change is fraught with cost escalations. We need to constantly upgrade our AI functions. Like we said, data should be correct, and then we need to make sure it is output driven goal. Secondly, the implementation of AI ecosystem, it requires talents and techniques. A proper system has to be put in place to acquire timely so that the implementation is purposeful in this regard. Therefore, HR has to ensure the accuracy of data, also the people who are using it. So, the implementation of AI in the HR solution at workplace will have multifaceted advantages, starting from hiring the best suited candidate to their engagement and retention. But at the same time, it is equally important for the organizations to adopt such AI-based HR solution that will integrate business and HR effectively, and they also need to be compatible with the organization's culture and ethnicity. Only then it will be a successful implementation. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson. Keep learning with us. Thank you.